Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope the new year's treating you guys well. We're here to talk about the thing that was almost World War III, but is not going to be World War III. I really enjoyed the memes with the whole World War III thing. And truth be told, it could have honestly gone that way. I think we're in the clear now, famous last words, I make this video and then after I put it up, we actually get involved in World War III. But from what I can analyze from situation, it looks like the escalation is going to be going to go down. Why? Because neither side wants war. The only people who want war, in fact, is the military industrial complex, the neocons, on both sides of the aisle. Don't think it's only a Republican or Democratic thing. Both major parties love war, and they're the only ones pushing for it. The American people don't want war. The Iranian government, believe it or not, doesn't want war. Why? Because they know they'll get wiped out. They know they can't win. They know they can hurt us a bit, but they can't win. They have no hope of winning. They can only try to hurt us the way Iraq and Afghanistan hurt us and severely damage this nation. Not only its reputation across the world, but drained of its resources. That's the only thing they can hope for. And the Iranian people don't want war either. They want to overthrow their dictatorial, maniacal government. They don't want the U.S. to do it for them, though. So really, 3 out of the 4 parties involved, the American people, the Iranian government, and the Iranian people don't want war. It's only the military-industrial complex in the U.S. government. There's a lot of U.S. government people who don't want war either. It's only the people who would directly benefit from this would want a war. And a side note, Russia and China would want a war too. Russia, China, Iran, they're all on the same anti-American side. Anti-American, not like they hate America. Why? They were rivals. Like they're acting in their best interest. They're acting just the way we act. We'll get to all this. Again, all these interconnecting issues about this thing. But the short of it is that we were wrong for killing the top Iranian general, the leader of the Quds Force. And we shouldn't have done it. And our troops should never be in Iraq for the Iranians to shoot missiles at us in the first place. Wow, big shocker there. I don't, how you could possibly see our involvement in the Middle East since the beginning of time, since the beginning of this nation, as a good thing. We have a horrendous track record of just fucking up so many fucking things, so many nations, so many countries, so many wars, hundreds of thousands of deaths. It's not millions of deaths we have caused, whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole history of the whole track record. Why? Because, people have written books on that. I'd be here for 10 hours describing how much we fucked up the Middle East. If you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're red-pilled enough to know that that foreign interventions fuck things up. The U.S. does not have a very good track record. In fact, a horrendous track record with foreign intervention, which is why you shouldn't do it. People say, well, we had to kill that general because he killed U.S. troops. Well, how was he able to kill U.S. troops? Because the Iranians have never attacked us on our soil. Oh, right. Our troops were in Iraq, right next to them. So yeah, it's true that he has killed some of our troops. But can you blame him? Can you blame him for Iran is acting in their own self-interest. They see us, who has continuously fucked up countries, and we have fucked up their country too. We'll get into that too. We have fucked up their country for decades and decades and decades. And then you see their forces right next to Iran's borders. You think, hey, why don't we take a shot at them? Because they have continuously taken shots at us when we try and mind our own fucking business. So we're going to get back at them. And this is an easy way to do that is to fund militias. So we're not doing it directly. Even these Iranian missiles, they didn't come from Iran, nor was the Iranian soldiers who shot them. The Iranians gave the missiles to militias that they control and say, shoot this base. They do it all indirectly. This is how proxy wars are fought. This is how Iran gets to land a blow on us without directly hitting us, without being the one directly responsible for the actual blow. Same reason why China helped North Vietnam against South Vietnam, the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was was basically a proxy war for us and China. We didn't want to fight directly. We already did that in the Korean War, and it was pretty disastrous for both sides. So China's like, well, instead of sending our own guys, we're just going to help out the Viet Cong a lot. The same thing. Iran didn't want to get directly involved in the Iraq War, so they just helped the Shia militia attack us. But can you blame Iran? No. And I know what you're going to say. There are going to be some right-wingers say, you're supporting Iran. You're supporting terrorists. You Islamic terrorists. You freedom of my guns. You know, it's like, no. Just get your head out of your ass for 2 seconds and just sit there and try to see it from Iran's point of view. We overthrew their democratic elected government in the 50s. We installed a horrendous dictator, the Shah, who brutalized and terrorized that country for decades. We have repeatedly invaded their neighbors. We have surrounded their country with like 30, 40, or 50 military bases. I'll put up the picture. I don't remember the exact stat, but it's more than 24. We have more than 24 bases around their country. We have invaded 2 countries on their borders, and we have fucked up Pakistan. We haven't directly invaded Pakistan, but we helped Musharraf, another dictator, brutalize that country. Like, can you just see our track record for their countries around them? And don't you feel, given what we have done to them directly with the Shah and overthrowing the democratic elected government and how we treat their neighbors, can't you see why they'll be like, oh yeah, the U.S. is our great enemy? You wonder why they call us the Great Satan? Imagine it from our point of view. Imagine if Iran was a powerful country way far away from us, and they overthrew our democratically elected government in the 50s. Let's say they overthrew, who was in the 50s? Eisenhower, I think? No, Eisenhower's directly. Yeah, Eisenhower's in the 50s. Let's say we elected Eisenhower, and they sent in their equivalent of CIA goons. They send in Al-Quds Force, goons, and thugs and militiamen to overthrow him and say, no, we don't like Eisenhower. We're going to put in our puppet government. We're going to put in our puppet dictator who's going to brutalize the fuck out of you, torture you guys into false confessions, and put you guys into prisons for years and years, no access to your family. We're going to cut off people's limbs in prison, take away all your rights. You can't own guns. You can't, there's no freedom of speech, whatever. Imagine if Iran did that to us in the 50s. And then, after that, they invaded not only Mexico, but Canada as well on bullshit, made-up excuses to drain their resources, Mexico's and Canada's natural resources, just the reason why we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq. Now imagine if Iran did all that to us. Don't you think America would be like, hey, let's take some shots at them. Let's send in some militia from across the border into Mexico and do some strikes against Iran? Duh! That's common sense. That's what you do in politics and war. We're just going to sit there like, oh, no, we can't attack them. Do you think the Iranians are sitting there like, oh, we can't attack America because we'll be seen as the bad guys. We'll be seen as Islamic terrorists. You know, a side note, what I also love is anytime Iran does anything, they're automatically terrorists, even when they attack U.S. soldiers. By definition, you can't do a terrorist attack against a military target. That's called warfare. The media constantly delegitimizes any way that Iran can defend itself or do anything for that matter. Our U.S. soldiers can directly kill civilians like, oh, I guess there's a few bad apples. Oh, they made a mistake. Oh, that doesn't represent our values at all. What do they always make excuses whenever U.S. soldiers kill civilians, which they have done literally hundreds of thousands of times and have killed literally hundreds of thousands of civilians on purpose. That has been well documented by WikiLeaks. That's why they hate Julian Assange, by the way, because he called them out on their bullshit. Every single time this happened, the U.S., the Pentagon, and all their stupid big brasses went up to CNN, Fox News, like, oh, this was an accident, you know, terrorists hide among civilian targets. This doesn't represent our values. That represents their values of using human shields. And in some cases, that does happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. But the vast majority of times, it doesn't happen. And that was proven by WikiLeaks' all the documents, which I will link. It's still up. You can read WikiLeaks anytime you want, if people would bother. And made most famous by that video of the U.S. drone obviously seeing cameramen saying they were terrorists. When you look at the footage, obviously they weren't fucking terrorists, and they blew up anyway.
For more than 2.5 years, the wire service Reuters has been trying to find out what happened to their 2 staff members on this street in the suburb of New Baghdad. WikiLeaks says this is what happened.
Yep, he's got a weapon too. Hotel 26, Crazy Horse 18, have 5 to 6 individuals with AK-47s. We got RPG. All right, we got a guy with
The voice on the tape, presumably a member of the military, says there has been shooting in the area and receives permission to open fire.
When people are labeled as insurgents, are they really insurgents? It seems to be the case that from the scenes in this video, that any person that is not a man, and sometimes not a woman, is by default labeled as an insurgent.
Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260.
Come on, fire. Hey, Roger. Keep shooting. God damn it, Kyle. All right. I hit him. Oh, yeah, look at those dead bastards. Nice. 2-6, crazy.
From a distance, you hear the voices on the tape watch as the wounded try to crawl to help. But when help arrives...
Come on, let us shoot.
You're engaged.
1-8, engage. Clear. Come on. Clear. Oh, yeah, look at that. Right through the windshield.
Prime example. That is just one. That is the best documented example that I could find, but that represents hundreds of thousands of times. Back to the point, we can kill civilians on purpose, but that doesn't reflect anything about our values or the fact that our military has conducted terrorist activities for years and years and years. No. That doesn't mean anything. You can't hold us against that. If you call U.S. soldiers terrorists, that means you hate America. But Iran can attack U.S. soldiers on a military base, the most legit way you can conduct warfare with no civilians involved, and they're still called terrorists. They are delegitimizing any way Iran can defend itself or attack in any way, shape. We knocked out power grids, defense grids in that country. Can you imagine if Iran knocked out a power grid in this country? We would call them terrorists. We would say we need to hit them back. Why is it that we can knock out their power grids, potentially harming civilians in that case? Why can we do that and not be called terrorists, but they can't shoot down one of our drones? They can't attack our troops? Why is it everything we do is okay, but when they do the exact same thing to us, then it's bad? Just like in the previous video, when the media reports on things differently depending on the demographic of the perpetrator and the attacker, so does the media in regards to international events. If the U.S. does it, then it's okay. But when another country, in almost mirror circumstances, does the exact same thing, then it's a terrorist attack. When the U.S. does it, it's legit. Oh, we're defending our interests. We're attacking terrorists, defending our freedom. We're fighting freedom, democracy. This is how you conduct war against military targets and no civilians. Blah, blah, blah. Every excuse under the sun whenever the U.S. does anything. But then Iran does the exact same fucking thing. No, they're terrorists. Iran is acting in their own best interest, as I described for many minutes. The U.S. military industrial complex has been itching to go war with Iran for over a decade. Over 15 years. I remember reading about it when I was first getting into politics around 2005, 2006. And I read op-eds and Pentagon people talking about how they wanted to invade Iran. It's like, oh, Iraq was just the beginning. The real axis of evil. Remember the axis of evil, that famous George Bush quote? Iran, Iraq, North Korea. They knocked out Iraq. They wanted to go after Iran. That was 14 years ago. And then every once in a while you hear war drums in the background of these neocons just itching to go to war, itching to spend more trillions of dollars that we don't have, eager to test out all these new weapons made by Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Raytheon and all that stuff, and all these ludicrous Pentagon contracts worth billions and billions of dollars. Now that the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan are winding down, we don't do that much anymore there. Well, where's our next playground? Where's our next battlefield? Oh, Iran. Yeah, we've had that on our list for quite some time. And Trump, to his downfall, pays attention to these neocon fucks in his cabinet and who advise him. That's why he struck Syria a couple years ago. That could have been disastrous. Imagine if Syria launched missiles in one of our airfields. Now, it didn't kill anyone. Syria did shoot a bunch of missiles. Even if it didn't kill anyone, we would call that a terrorist attack. We're like, Syria shot us from out of nowhere. Syria, what has Syria done to us? Why the fuck did we blow up their airfield? They haven't done a goddamn thing to us. Imagine if Syria did to us. We'd be like, the fuck? We didn't do anything to you guys. We're halfway across the world. That could have started a war. Syria would have been legit in attacking our forces wherever they could find them. Because you attacked our airfield. You started this. We are conducting our own civil war. Nothing to do with you, and you go and attack one of our airfields. So we have the moral high ground. We have the moral right of way to attack back. That could have been a war. This thing could have also been a war. Iran would have been completely in the right of way, and the world would have sided with Iran. As despicable as they are, they would have seen, Wait, so you kill one of your top generals? Why? Because there was a protest at an embassy? Because you killed more people? And why you have troops in Iraq in the first place? Because of made up bullshit lies? I love it. It's just they act like Iran attacked U.S. troops, like in a base like Fort Bragg or Quantico or something. It's just like, no, they were attacking U.S. troops in Iraq who shouldn't fucking be there, who invaded that country on a lie, completely made up fabrication. Imagine if Iran said Mexico has weapons of mass destruction, but really they just want Mexico's oil. So they make an excuse and invade Mexico and turn it into a fucking hellhole and kill hundreds of thousands of people, install a dictator who takes away people's human rights and everything, And then we're like, well, I have no sympathy for your troops if they get attacked because they shouldn't fucking be there. All of this shows that when you pay attention to neocons, when you pay attention to people like Ben Shapiro, you get war. Ben Shapiro has championed every single war that a Republican has ever started. And then when Obama does it, magically, he just kind of doesn't really say much. Sometimes disagrees and sometimes he doesn't. But when a Republican wants war, he's like, gung-ho, fuck yeah, I want war. I won't personally fight because I'm a little fucking bitch. I'm a little short little nerd. In terms of service, I would call him things stronger than that. But I don't want to get banned.
Again, the terms of service, community guidelines are so restrictive.
The new terms of service in YouTube, you can't make fun of anyone based on physical attributes. So me just making fun of him because he's a short, scrawny little nerd who constantly talks big and wants to invade all his countries, but he won't do it himself because he's a little pussy. That's enough to get me banned, according to the terms of service. So you can't make fun of anymore. You can be little dorky Ben Shapiro and advocate for a war that would cost trillions of dollars, kill hundreds of thousands of people, wreck total economies and total countries. You can do all that on his Daily Wire show. But if someone calls him a little pussy, nope, can't allow that. Nope, totally can't do that. That shows where our values are and where YouTube actually gives a shit about things or not. Advocate for complete total war, annihilation of a country, totally fucking fine. Call them mean names? Nope, can't do that. So I think I said everything I need to say about that. Trump was wrong to kill the general, even though he's a bad guy. There's lots of bad guys. Are we just going to shoot ICBMs to hundreds of targets across the world because they're bad people? Yeah, good luck with that. You can't just say, this person's bad, he's killed civilians, we are totally justified in taking him out. So based on that logic, you can kill any U.S. general military commander because they've killed lots of civilians too. I might get banned for that one too, shit. What, does that mean you hate the U.S. troops? No, I'm just pointing to records of the hundreds of thousands of times that U.S. Soldiers have killed civilians on purpose. And the general and the commander ordered that. I'm just pointing it out. It's all been documented by WikiLeaks, by human rights organizations, by the military itself sometimes. Why am I, American-hating Islamic terrorist because I'm pointing out something that's already been documented? Oh yeah, well that's the clown world we live in. Pointing out, crime statistics is racist. Pointing out war crime statistics means you hate your country. I mean, this is the clown world we live in, where they try to delegitimize any criticism of them automatically. If you criticize the soldiers in any way, shape, or form, that means you hate the soldiers, and you hate America, and you're an Islamic terrorist sympathizer. I've been hearing that for years. That's how they try to conceal criticism themselves. Like, if we make you a social pariah for criticizing us by labeling you one of the nastiest things on the planet, then people will be scared to criticize us and we can do whatever we want. That's what they do. They've been doing this for years. I've been hearing the same rhetoric from right-wingers whenever I criticize the military, criticize anything like that, for literally years. Close to half my life, I've been called Islamic terrorist, which is fucking hilarious. Another clown world. This was clown world before the term clown world even existed. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, so I'm saying, hey, U.S. troops don't kill civilians on purpose. That means I'm a terrorist. But when you support the U.S. soldiers killing Muslim civilians on purpose because they're Muslim scum and they're heathens and they're Satanists and they all deserve to go to hell, that doesn't make you a terrorist? The mental gymnastics you have to go through in order for that to be true is fucking hilarious. And I call them out on it. I'm like, dude, literally I'm saying don't kill civilians and you're literally saying kill civilians, but I'm a terrorist and you're not? Hilarious. Ridiculous shit. Complete mental retardation. It's another fun fact that I heard so many times. Some inbred redneck conservative hillbilly will say, we need to bomb all those Muslims. I'd be like, how's that any difference for some redneck inbred Muslim, you know, living in the middle of Yemen, for example, saying, we need to kill all those Americans? I know the accent's not, you know, it's obviously not how he talks, it's a joke, but what's the difference? What's the difference between the U.S. saying we need to kill all Muslims and a Muslim saying we need to kill all Americans or all Christians or whatever? What's the difference? Tell me the difference. Of course, they can never answer. They're like, oh, well, the Muslims, they want to kill us all, so we need to kill them all first. And I'm like, well, that's what the Muslims say, too. They say that there's some Christians that want to kill all of them, and they point to you saying it, and like, see, that Christian wants to kill all of us, so we need to kill all of them, too. Like, just there's no difference between you two. Okay, did I hit all the major points before I need to wrap this up? No, I went about 20 or so minutes. No, that's just the end of it. Don't foreign intervene in wars. Pull all the troops home and put them back with their families where they belong and back to the southern border where they're needed. Save trillions of dollars. Don't install dictators that torture their own people to make them so they hate us. I mean, I can't believe I have to explain this, but like, people really don't like when you like overthrow their government and put in a dictator, treat them like shit for decades. Shocker! I can't believe. Oh, I can't believe no one's figured that out yet. I can't believe that. How does no one figure that out? I've been genius. I can't believe I came up with this like radically awesome foreign policy rule of don't install dictators for no fucking reason, you twats.